Comrie in goal tonight?
It will be Comrie, and then as you asked that, Mike, when we move forward, I'm not going to give out the goalies just for the goalie's sake. I think it just where we're at now. I think it's best to give them that time to prepare without the other team necessarily knowing who they're preparing for moving forward. But Comrie tonight, and UPL with us.
What's the Riley Shahan? Is he nursing it?
He's day to day. He's muscular, so what he has should resolve and jump right back into it.
Good to give him alone a game. I mean,
It is. It is. He we wanted to give him a game earlier. Obviously, health dictated that wasn't the case. And last season, even the off season, he was a guy we wanted back. Last season, we talked about him a couple different times being a potential call up, and each time he was not healthy. So he has really played well in Rochester and was a guy we wanted back. And tonight's an opportunity to get him in there before the season starts, knowing that there's a chance that he'll be with us at some point during the year.
What does he mean for the organization, both to know that you can count on him down there and count on him up here if you need him?
Yeah, he is. When you know Sean, he's an incredibly good person, great heart, great teammate, and those are things that are essential when you talk about a more veteran player being in Rochester and spending more time in Rochester. The good attitude, the good outlook on life, the love of the game. And I had the fortune of coaching him at the national team program when he was drafted by the Sabres, and I was excited for him then, and I'm excited that he's still in our organization, and have a lot of respect for him as a person and a player.
As far as the defense depth goes, it's been boosted. Are there tough decisions coming as far as guys who might have to send out waivers and so forth? Could that influence your decision if a guy has to clear waivers?
You always, when you like players that need to go on waivers, there's always a concern. We like the players that we have, and they wouldn't still be in camp. And we like a lot more that are in our organization, obviously. But if we're talking about, having extra defensemen in practice that we know we can't keep that many on a 23-man roster, I want to see them as much as I can. I watched a little bit of video of them from last season over the summer, talked to them when we were offering them over the summer, and eventually obviously signed them. These are guys that I liked, and I want to get to know even more, knowing that some of them will have to go to Rochester. And obviously they have to clear waivers to do that, but we're trying to get as much of a look at them, knowing the guys that return and knowing where they fit in. This is still an opportunity now to see more out of the new guys coming into the organization, and give them time with us to adjust to us as coaches here and how we want to play our style, our identity as a team. So I don't worry too much about decisions. To me, this whole process is about what I just said, getting them more integrated with what we're doing in the event that they are playing games with us, which is highly likely as you look at an 82-game season.
You obviously had a good AHL team last year, but how much, like Bill said, do you just sense the depth, especially the veteran depth, is going to be a lot more in Rochester this year?
The depth all around. We definitely upgraded the veteran depth, specifically on the defensive end. But the depth of talent there. Last year, Quinn and Peterka stood out as young guys. And in the background of that, Byro was emerging. Rusick did not play till late in the year and just jumped on the scene as, wow, what a prospect he is. And then you add, all the young kids that are going in there this year, from Rosine to Kulik to Kisakov to, very, very talented young hockey players. So it is exciting in both manners. Some guys with NHL experience going in there, the style that we want to play, that I think is a boost to Rochester, and then an influx of young talent that will definitely be a boost.
When you're bringing a guy into the lineup or calling him from Rochester, Is there ever a role that you have in mind, or is it, let's get him in the lineup to play?
A little bit of both, Joel. It depends on maybe what slot they're going in. So you're going to look at who might fit that slot, and then say there's 3 or 4 players that you're considering at that point. You get excited for each player for different skill sets that they have, but you do figure, okay, what slot is needed here. And the comforting thing for me when we looked at as many players, we have so many skilled players that can fit lots of different situations, which is really exciting, if that makes any sense at all, John.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
As far as Craig goes, we were talking to him yesterday, it seemed like you guys were the perfect marriage, so to speak, because he needed a team, you guys needed a goalie, and it's just the dynamic of it was what he needed and what you needed. Do you see that? You know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Rambling,
yeah.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he is a great fit for us because we have what we feel, we have an emerging goalie in Ukko-Pekka, and we have a hungry goalie that has a lot of experience, but not yet broken the threshold of being a number one guy, yet he has all the makings of it with experience and talent and work ethic and skill and on, that we saw Craig be a positive influence to UPL last year, and we saw him be a real positive influence to our team, and he's still an effective goaltender just outright as a goaltender. The workload isn't, he can't handle the 82-game workload like he could years ago, and we feel we have guys that can supplement that. So he doesn't have to log the minutes of a number one guy, but we feel that he's more than more than good in the net. Period. Or we wouldn't be talking about this at all. He's a very good NHL goalie. So yes, all of the other stuff is a huge bonus that fits our organization right now. He is like Okposo. They're selfless from the respect they want to give back to the game, and they want to help the guy next to him, even excited that guy's the guy that's going to be replacing them, and I think that's unique, very, very unique. And Craig, he's happy for those guys, and he helps those guys, knowing that helping them more will probably take minutes away from him.
John, how would you describe Asplund's camp preseason to date?
Consistent. He just keeps getting a little bit better every day, and he's done that for the last 3 years. And the World Championships were a real good sign. Obviously, last year him and Cousins were, I think, 2 of the top 3 goal scorers in that tournament, and that wasn't a surprise to me. He's always riding that threshold of, much like we speak on Comrie, becoming a number one at some point. Aspie is, he's a very versatile player. We can play him with first line guys and they get excited that Aspie's on their line, or you can play him in more what would traditionally be a fourth line role, and he knows exactly. He has a great sense of objective and get it done. Now he's got hindsight of experience that really helps him in situations. I think that's the biggest difference.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep. See you guys.